Okay, so in order for animals to survive, they need to be able to perform essential functions, which are things like reproduction and things like movement or responding to their environment. All of those things are essential functions for an animal. And we're going to look at different kinds of animals, and those special functions are carried out by the body systems. Okay? So as we look at the different kinds of animals, we'll look at the systems that take care of each of these essential functions. So we'll look at what takes care of responding to the environment, like the nervous system, right? Or we'll look at what's responsible for picking up waste products, like the circulatory system, that sort of thing. Okay, so the body systems are used to carry out all of these essential functions that must be done in order for the animal to survive. So here's a little flow chart to help you see this. So all animals have eukaryotic cells that don't have cell walls. They all are heterotrophs, and they all carry out these essential functions like reproduction, circulation, feeding, excretion, response, respiration, and movement. I'd write those 7 essential functions down as it is a homework question for you. All right. So movement, they move around. Respiration is breathing, like getting oxygen, getting rid of waste products like carbon dioxide. Response is responding to the environment. So if a ball flies at your face, you're going to move your head out of the way so it doesn't hit you in the face. Okay, that would be bad for your survival and your dashing good looks if a ball hit you in the face. Okay, excretion, getting rid of waste products. Feeding, I hope that's self-explanatory, getting energy. Circulation, moving oxygen and picking up to cells and picking up waste products, and then reproduction. So as we go through, we're going to look at these different systems, body systems that perform these essential functions, and you'll actually get like coloring pages for each phylum, and you're going to color it with a key. So all of the respiratory systems will be like blue, okay, and all of the digestive systems will be green. And so you can have that at the end to like compare all of the phyla together, okay? So that's what we're going to be doing. Here's the different phyla that we're going to talk about. So this cycle, we're going to talk about sponges, porifera. Cnidarians is next cycle. Okay, jellyfish, sea anemones, corals, all of that fun stuff. We're going to group the 3 worms into one cycle. Okay, so there's 3 worm phyla. We'll talk about them in one. Mollusks, okay, well, after worms, you'll have a test. Then mollusks, okay, is one cycle. Arthropods is another cycle. And echinoderms is another cycle. And then that's the end of the semester. Okay. Yep.
We only have 1 more test.
You have 2 more tests. You'll have another test after echinoderms. Okay. But that's the end of the semester. As of right now, we're actually like halfway done with the semester. We have fewer than 14 cycles. And, well, I guess like half of 14. And we're pretty much through 7. So crazy. Okay. So as we look at these different animal phyla, we're going to look at some of the different features of the phyla. And one of the things that you may notice, we're going to start with what are considered to be the more simple animals. I use that in quotes because they're said to be simple, but I mean, they're not as simple as you would think they would be. Okay, so but what you'll notice is that as we move up from the simple animals to the more complex animals, you'll see that in the simpler animals, the life functions, all of those 7 essential life functions that we just talked about, those are carried out at the cell or tissue level. Okay, so sponges don't have tissues. They just have different kinds of cells. And all of the essential functions for that animal are carried out at the cellular level. Okay. Cnidarians have a tissue level of organization. So all of the essential functions are carried out in tissues. As we move up, the more and more complex animals will have organs and organ systems, okay, where those functions will be carried out. Okay, you'll also see bilateral and radial symmetry throughout the animal kingdom. So do you guys know what symmetry is? Yeah. So if you divide something in half, they're mirror images of each other. So essentially, if you could divide your body in half down the midline, you could fold that half over onto the other half and they'd be the same, right? That's symmetry. So you have two kinds of symmetry. You have radial symmetry and you have bilateral symmetry. Bilateral symmetry is just one single way to divide the body in half. Okay, so you have bilateral symmetry. If you can only divide your body in half this way to have mirror images. Okay, if you divided your body in half like at your waist and you fold that over, is it the same? No. So bilateral. Okay, radial is different. Radial, you have many different ways to divide the body in half and get mirror images. Okay, so if you divide the C star in half this way and fold that half over, do you have mirror images? Well, it is. Because if I held a mirror up to like on the midline of my body and I moved this part, like it would look like normal, okay? Because it's mirror image. So, like, it's a mirror image. Bring a full-length mirror and I'll hold it up and you can see, okay? Because remember, mirror's opposite, right? Okay. So if I divide it this way, is it mirror images? Yes. How about this way? Yes. Okay, anemones. Okay. Here, we'll redraw that. So this is my anemone. It's the mouth in the middle and the tentacles around the outside. Okay, we're looking at it from the top. If I divide it this way, is it mirror images? That way, that way, that way, that way, and that way, and that way, and that way. Okay. Yes. Record. Animals that have bilateral symmetry, okay, tend to have specialized sense organs in one part of their body, and there's only one way to divide their body in half to get mirror images. And they have specialized front and back ends, and then upper and lower sides, or right and left sides. Okay, so here's your butterfly. It's got bilateral symmetry. Okay, if you divided it this way, it would not be mirror images. Two more pictures to help you see it, and I think those are in your notes, right? Okay. Okay, and so because you have specialized right and left halves and upper and lower parts, we use directional terms with animals that have bilateral symmetry. So anterior is the front end towards the head, okay, posterior is towards the tail, dorsal's at the top, and ventral's at the bottom. Okay, so like the dorsal fin of a shark, it's the dorsal fin. It's because it's the fin that's on the dorsal side. It's like the iconic shark fin that cuts through the water, right? Jaws. Dun-dun. Dun-dun. Okay. Okay. Also, animals that are considered to be more complex have what's called cephalization, okay, which is a concentration of sense organs in a head region. And the reason for that is animals with bilateral symmetry tend to move head first through their world, through the environment. So it makes sense to have all of the sense organs on the head because that's where they can sense their environment. Okay. So cephalization, concentration of sense organs in the head. We'll also talk about ganglia. Okay, ganglia, some animals don't have any brains. They just will simply have what are called ganglia. And ganglia are gatherings of nerve cell bodies that can control certain parts of the body. Yeah.